Okay, so we gotta head back to the river. Okay. Just wearing a ridiculous hat. No big deal. I'm gonna guess that, you don't... So health and mana either need to use potions or sleep to recover, I'm gonna guess. Only fatigue repairs over time. The cat is the hat is ridiculous. Iconic, I'm sure, because, well, yeah, it's free, so why not? So I'm allowed to sleep in that guy's house. But there's no passive regen. Aside from sleeping, and this guy's given me permission to take a nap in his bed, so... The War of the First Council. Okay, we're gonna do a little lore reading. This account by the Imperial scholar Agrippa Fundilius is based on various Imperial and Dunmer sources, and written for Western readers. The War of the First Council was a First Age religious conflict. Oh, okay, so I can have enchantments that will give me like HP per heals, and they'll just passively go off. Okay, that makes sense. The War of the First Council was a First Age religious conflict between the secular Dunmer houses Dwemer and Dagoth and the Orthodox Dunmer houses Induril, Redaron, Dres, Hlalu, and Telvanni. The First Council was the first pan-Dunmer governing body which collapsed over disputes about sorceries and enchantments practiced by the Dwemer and declared profane by the other houses. Secular houses, less numerous but politically and magically more advanced, and aided by Nord and Orc clowns drawn by clans, not clowns, drawn by promise of land and booty, initially campaigned with great success in the north of Morrowind, and occupied much of the land now comprising Redaron, Vardenfell, and Telvanni district. The Orthodox houses, widely dispersed and poorly organized, suffered defeat after defeat until Naravar was made general of all house troops and levies. No, that's not. That's it. Next. Naravar secured the aid of nomad barbarian tribesmen and contrived to force a major battle at the secular stronghold of Red Mountain on Vardenfell. The secular forces were outmaneuvered and defeated with the help of Ashlander scouts, and the survivors forced to take refuge in the Dwemer stronghold at Red Mountain. After a brief siege, treason permitted Naravar and his troops to enter the stronghold, where the secular leaders were slain and Naravar mortally wounded. General slaughter followed, and houses Dwemer and Dagoth were exterminated. Naravar died shortly thereafter of his wounds. 3 of Naravar's associates among the Orthodox houses, Vivek, Amalexia, and Sothasil, succeeded to control of the recreated First Council, renamed the Ground Council of Morrowind, and went on to become the God Kings and immortal rulers of Morrowind, known as the Tribunal, or Almcivi. Okay. Bed. Until healed. So I'm going to be heading into what is essentially a dungeon. I should probably... Options, quests, Fighters Guild Exterminator, Draranthalis. Okay. Which one is your house? That one. Okay. You look well equipped. Which one is it? It's the one I'm just outside of, and I think the door is on the other side. Yep.
Speak, traveler.
The one sent to take care of the cave rats? Yep. These rats are such a nuisance. I'm worried they'll eat all of my pillows. You like pillows, don't you, Archon Shade? Yes, I'm fond of pillows. They make sleeping much easier. Anyway, I've got one trapped in my bedroom here, and the other two in my storage area upstairs. Rats, that is, not pillows. Here's the key for that door. Or at least 3 of these beasts. I hope they haven't gotten into my good pillows. Okay. Want to move? Door. That's the wrong spell. That's the one I wanted to use. Anything on you? Just some rat meat. Anticipations. Ah, someone's got some books. Pillows. Should we steal them? This woman really likes her pillows. She has a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pillows. 7. Who needs 7 pillows? Not. The cantatas of Vivek are gospels written in the form of epic songs. They trace the evolution of Vivek from a foolish mortal into an enlightened divine. Vivek sought out experiences that tested him in every way possible, particularly in the defense and protection of his Dunmer people. Through his song life, his humility, and his unconquerable spirit, he attained the wisdom of the 7 graces. The cantatas relate many stories of Vivek's experiments with challenge and risk, his failures and triumphs, his blessings of insight and good fortune, and his debt to his partners, Almalexia the lover and Sotha-Seal the teacher. The poetry is simple and dramatic, lyric and personal, composed to be sung or recited. The following is an excerpt from Lord Vivek's Brooding Beneath Red Mountain. Gaunt ghost fires loom as subtle shrouds, smokes and shades on the biers of Red Mountain. Spires? Arches and spires line the rock halls, dimly lit by the spirits of the dead. Blood of broken hearths and houses runs in red rivers, blossoms in fountains. Girdled round within walls of wit's glass, the shattered hosts slumber in cradles of ash. But when shall they wake? What dark crucible may kindle their souls to light? How long beneath red reeking clouds must flickering watchfires burn? How many lifetimes of labor and lament will it take to seal this restless tomb? They're worth quite a bit, but I feel like I'd get in a lot of trouble if I stole them. 36 lessons of Vivek Sermon 20. First monster was actually 2, having been born twice like his mother-father Vivek. He was not the mightiest of the 8 to escape Moatra, but his actions were the most worrisome. He was known as Moon Axle, and he harvested the leftover foibles of nature. Thus he did twice, as was said, and the second harvest always brought ruin or unwritten law. His aspect was faceted like a polyhedron. No perils are mentioned in the finding of Moon Axle, but it was known that he was immune to spears. so Vivek had to use the sword not held against him. Before he took issue with the monster, the warrior poet asked, how came you to be immune to spears? To which Munaxel replied, mine is a dual nature and protean. I am in fact made of many straight lines, though none last too long. This way I have learned to ignore all true segments. Luckily the sword not held was curved, therefore could cut into Munaxel. And before the sun was up, he was bleeding from many wounds. Vivek did not slay him outright, for to do so would to keep the foibles of nature within him and not back where they belonged. Soon Vivek had traced geography right again, and Munaxel was ready to be slain. Vivek rose up in his giant form, to be terrible to look upon. He reached into the west and pulled out a canyon, holding it like a horn. He reached east and ate a handful of nixhounds. Blowing their spirits through the canyon made a terrible wail, not unlike an unsolved woman. What? He said, let this overtake you, and Munaxel was overtaken by the curvatures of stolen souls. Not unlike an unsolved woman. What does that even mean? They wrapped about the monster like resin until finally he could not move, nor could his dual nature. Vivek said, now you are solved, and pierced his child with Muatra. Munaxel had been reduced to something static, and therefore shattered. The lines of Munaxel were collected by Velothi philosophers and taken into caves. There, and for a year, Vivek taught the philosophers how to turn the lines of his son into the spokes of mystery wheels. This was the birth of the first whirling school. Before, there had only been the surface thought of fire. Vivek looked at his first wheeling students and observed. Alike the egg-layered universe is this morbid possession of three distant coverage, soul-wrecking and alive like my name is alive. In this cloister you have discovered one walking path, held like a sword but more coarsened. So edged it is that it has to be whispered to keep the tongue from bleeding, or its signs evacuate their former meanings, like empires that tarry too long. The sword is estrangement from statesmanship. Look on the estimate lines of my son, now crafted starwise, is every limb equidistant from the center. Is he solved because I will it so? There cannot be a second stage. Think on the theory that my existence promulgates the five elements, and alike the egg-layered universe. I am cause for great density. Here is a thought that can break the wagon's axle. Here is another that can soar. The ending of the words is Sivi. I feel like I'd need to be tripping balls to make sense of what I just read. The Daedra are powerful ancestor spirits, similar in form and substance to the Tribunal, blessed be their names, but weaker in power and more arbitrary and removed from the affairs of mortals. In old times, the Khmer worshipped the Daedra as gods, but they did not deserve this veneration, for the Daedra harmed their worshippers as often as helped them. The advent of the Tribunal, blessed be their names, holy names, changed this unhappy state. By the apotheosis, the Tribunal, blessed be their holy names, became the protectors and high ancestor spirits of the Dunmer. And bade the Daedra to give proper veneration and obedience. The three good Daedra, Bothia, Azura, and Mafala, recognized the divinity of the triune ancestors, blessed be their holy names. The rebel Daedra, Molagbal, Malakoth, Sheogorath, and Mehrunes Dagon, refused to swear fealty to the Tribunal, blessed be their holy names. and their worshippers were cast out. These rebel Daedra thus became the four corners of the House of... I keep hitting close instead of next. Troubles, and they continue to plague our tranquility and tempt the wary into heresy and dark worship. The priests of the temple remain ever vigilant for signs of the adversary's return, sometimes aided by the loyal three good Daedra, who are familiar with the wiles of their rebellious kin. The good Daedra are known to the temple as the Anticipations, since they are the early ancestral anticipations of the loving patronage of the tribunal. The Anticipations are the Daedra lords Bothia, Mephala, and Azura. Bothia is the anticipation of Alexia, but male to her female. Bothia was the ancestor who illuminated the elves ages ago before the Mythic Era. He told them the truth of Lorkhan's test and defeated Auriel's champion, Trinimac. Bothia ate Trinimac and voided him. Followers of Bothia and Trinimac rubbed the soil of Trinimac upon themselves and changed their skins. So, Bothia ate Trinimac, pooped him out, and both of their followers rubbed the poop into themselves. And each of the three good Daedra is in anticipation of one of the god kings. Okay. Mephala is the anticipation of Vivek, but manifold and androgynous. Mephala taught the Chimera to evade their enemies or kill them with secret murder. The Chimera were few in those days and threatened on all sides. Mephala taught the Chimera to build houses. Later, Mephala created the Morag Tong. Azura is the anticipation of Sotha's seal, but female to his male. Azura was the ancestor who taught the Chimera how to be different from the Altmer. Her teachings are sometimes attributed to Bothia. In the stories, Azura is often encountered more as a communal progenitor of the race as a whole rather than as an individual ancestor. She is associated with dusk and dawn and is sometimes called the Mother Soul. Azura's star, also called the Twilight Star, appears briefly at dawn and dusk, low on the horizon below the constellation of the Steed. Azura is associated with mystery and magic, fate and prophecy. Every single thing I read was a word. I vaguely understood that someone ate someone, pooped them out, and then people rubbed them into their skin. Do I have to go outside and in another place or something? Where's your storage house? You didn't see nothing. That's right, keep walking. So you should just read it as something that was written in a book, not necessarily something that actually happened. Got it. It did seem a little self-serving, shall we say. Don't need to unlock it. God, rats! That was fun. want this first. Skid, funnel, cup. Everything, because they're tiny, it makes sense. This is payment for killing your rats. I'm gonna assume this will not get me in trouble. We'll find out. She has 25 pillows in this basket. 25? Madam, you have 75 pillows here. That is a lot of pillows. Why do you need that many pillows? Restore fatigue. Restore health. Why not? Basket, paper, journeyman armor's hammer. Does that... I used up all its charge. Okay. Well. Finished your task, lady. What do you have for me? That's... It's not even that she has 75 pillows. It's she has 75 pillows in her storage room. That's in addition to the 7 pillows on her bed. Cave rat. I killed your rats. Take your word that the cave rats are dead. Here, take these 100 septims. It's what I agreed to pay the Fighters Guild. Sure, everyone knows. Nothing new. Nothing new. Vampires. Okay, so I think now I'm supposed to go. We've made some progress towards it. Why does everything have no effect on me? Okay. I already know that has no effect on me. Okay, that's why things weren't doing anything. It has to actually have an effect on me. Why does, like, nothing have any effect on me? But, like, also some things don't have an effect on me because I've used them recently.